Hi everyone, so we are 3 volunteers and we've been in Cartagena for the last couple of weeks. We came here as Domino's volunteer, the organization that puts in contact volunteers from all over the world with great projects here in Cartagena. So I'm Alice and this is Kevin and Danna. Danna, if you want to tell us just a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, of course. Well, my name is Danna Gallegos. I'm from the United States, but I was born and raised in Mexico, so that's how I know Spanish. Well, I'm 21 years old and I'm working here in Cartagena with a program called which is situated in El Barrio de San Francisco. What they do is it's a preventive program against sexual exploitation and abuse and sex trafficking, specifically sex tourism amongst like children and adolescents. And so we have a preventive program.
Super interesting.
I'm Kevin. I'm from the U.S. as well, and my parents are from Ecuador. I'm 20 years old, and I'm working at Tierra Bomba, and I'm helping the local English teacher just with like class lessons and like painting murals and stuff like that. And yeah.
So I'm Alice, I'm slightly older, I'm 28, I'm French, but I've been living in Ireland for the last 4 years almost. In Cartagena I've been helping with a great project based in La Boquilla, which is a neighborhood slightly outside of the city center, helping teach English and manage the English class for everyone from age 6 to age 30, 40, whatever. And it's been a great experience and yeah, learning a lot about different aspects of Cartagena and the culture here. So we have all been given one question that has remained secret so far, and we'll have to answer quickly and as shortly and snappy as we can. So Danna, if you want to give it a try.
My question is, share a fun, important experience you will always remember. So there was this one day in which I had just finished working where I'm from, and there was this one like old lady who, you know, I had only talked to once like prior, and then we just started talking out of nowhere, and then I ended up coming to to the city center with her, and then like she asked me if I had ever drank beer, or like Colombian beer, and like from Cartagena, and I never had. So she literally just took me to a store. She just bought 2 like beer cans, and she just like walked out with them, and so like it was my first time just like drinking beer just in the street, just talking with a woman that I probably would have never like actually gotten close to or anything. It was just like a very random decision, and right now we actually ended up being really good friends. Yeah, and we hanging out a lot. It was really nice.
Good representation of Colombian people actually.
My turn. So my question is, what do you think about Cartagena in terms of culture, environment, and politics? Well, that's a big question. I think, well, I guess in terms of culture, I think it's very like vibrant and like just very present, you could say. I think there's so many things to talk about Cartagena culture that just impossible to say in like one word or like one sentence even. But I just think it's very vibrant, very welcoming, very warm. Environment, I mean, it's very hot in Cartagena, very humid. It took me a lot to get used to, but it's also part of like the culture too. And politics, honestly, I don't know a lot about like the politics in Colombia or in Cartagena, so I can't speak too much on that. But at least like there's been a lot of experience to talk to local people here, and like he's been very involved in politics and very passionate about just what's going on in their country and in Cartagena specifically with like the kids I work with and like the teachers I work with in Tierra Bomba, what the situation in Tierra Bomba is, and the political aspects of it.
And so my question is, which experiences as a volunteer in Cartagena changed you? I think that the biggest thing is that I was in Cartagena not just as a volunteer, I was also a tourist, I was a friend to the people I've met here and a volunteer, and I think that's what gave me the best experience because I got to enjoy the city in so many different ways. I saw parts of the city that I would say 80% of tourists in Cartagena will never have gone to because they never wandered off the city wall. And that's such a pity. At the same time, I got to enjoy the culture of Cartagena and the dancing and the fun and the food and everything that makes the culture here so vibrant. And as a volunteer, it's just talking with people that I probably wouldn't have met if I just had stayed in my comfort zone and being simply a tourist. I think being a volunteer just broadened my horizons in terms of who I interacted with, in what capacity, and at what frequency. It really, I think the contrast of the city, it's something I would never have experienced if I had just been a tourist. And being a volunteer, yeah, was really such more broad than I could ever imagine. So now we have one last question that all three of us are going to answer, which is a phrase that describes what it means to you to be a volunteer.
I think, just off the top of my head, maybe just like being a volunteer means like connecting with the community and the people that you work with, and it's like an interchange of like knowledge, culture, experiences, and whatever else is there between the volunteer and like whoever it is you're working with. And it's not like just like, oh, I'm here to help you. It's like you know, I'm here to like, learn and also like interchange whatever is interchange. So that's a big phrase.
That's a good one.
Yeah. For me, I would say that there is no such thing as a voiceless, but the preferably unheard or the simply like abused to not be like to keep down, you know.
And I think for me that what describes best being a volunteer is the people that I've met. I think I'm echoing a little bit what Kevin said, but being a volunteer is just being in touch with the real people of the real Cartagena, which is so much deeper and richer than I would ever imagined. And there is so much more to do, but I'm happy to have been able to do what I've done in the couple of weeks I was there. Well, I think that's about it for us. Thank you so much, and we hope that you will join Domino's volunteers in Cartagena. There's so many amazing projects, and we wish we could all stay longer.